Hey y'all, so today I thought what I would do, because I mentioned in my last video that I needed to go through my go bag and then the bag that I keep in my car for emergencies. It's a lot though, and rather than trying to show you everything that I keep in my car and then show you everything that's in the go bag, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I have for just emergencies, the top things that I think would be really helpful, really beneficial to have. And then I will show you the things that I'm actually going to put into the bag that I keep in my car, because I have a go van. I don't need a go bag anymore. So let's do that. But first I've got to actually take everything out of the bag. And I don't know why I didn't remember. There's a lot in there. So the first thing I'd recommend is figuring out what bag you're working with. I personally like to use bags that I already have. I don't feel like you need to go buy a bag for anything. And I have two. I have this duffel that I've had for years. It used to be my gym bag. And then I have this Patagonia bag. Please don't run out and buy a Patagonia bag if you don't already have one. I have this one for travel. I would use it for weekend trips, and realized that I don't use it as often as I would like to, especially now that I have the van. I really don't use it because I don't pack my clothes this way. So I like this one because it's a duffel. As you can see, it's a duffel, but it also has these straps that turn it into a backpack. So you put the straps on, convert it to a backpack, throw it on your back, and if you ever need to leave your vehicle or you need to leave your house quickly, you have a backpack that you can just throw on your back. But first things first, get a bag. The first thing I would say, unconventional place to start, clothing. Whether you are preparing a go bag for your house, there's an emergency, you have to leave quickly, or if you're preparing something for your car, you want to have at least a change of clothing. So I know that there have been times, I actually remember one time I was hiking by myself, my car ended up having some sort of trouble. We couldn't figure out what it was. I ended up having to call AAA, and they were like, well, because of where you are, it's going to take us a while to get to where you are. And I was gross because I had been hiking and playing and doing all kinds of stuff. And so I was really grateful to have an appropriate set of change of clothes that I could change into while I was there. So that is, of course, is going to be weather dependent. It's going to depend on where you live. I would say the mainstays are a change of underwear. Definitely pants, shirt, hoodie maybe if you are in that type of environment, and a jacket. I also have things like gloves and the, what are they called? Balaclavas or something like that, where you can put it around your neck, and if you're overheated, you put cold water on it. It helps regulate your temperature. I just have all kinds of stuff that I normally have. Don't go out and buy stuff if you don't have it. Figure out what you have in your house that you can just put into that bag, and build over time if there are things that you feel like you need to have based on the activities that you are a part of. So the third thing, I would say that you probably need to do is figure out how you're going to have water in an emergency situation. So whenever I'm in my car, I undoubtedly have one of my larger water bottles. I live in Colorado. We're water bottle people just because of the elevation. And so I always have it with me. And on top of that, whenever I know that I'm going to be out and about, if I'm leaving the house, which I don't do a lot nowadays, oddly enough, I actually have at least one of the like bottled waters that you purchase at the store, you can refill. I generally have that in my car. Now, we're approaching winter, so that means that that is a very big risk of freezing and then popping and then making a complete mess in your car. So I don't always carry that. What I do carry, though, are several methods for just being able to obtain water and then carry it. So let me show you. So again, these are things that I have picked up over time. This actually is just a plastic water bottle. It folds down really flat. You can, open it up, fill it, and then you tip it back, and there you go. You have your spout. This is something really light and easy to take and pack. It packs down very small. Then I also have these, which, if you are into hiking and things like that, it's the hydration pack with the bite nozzle. So I have an extra one of those. I also, this is funny because I realized this was in my go bag, but the whole filtration system is not here. There's an actual part that that you attach that filters the water for you that is not here. So if you do decide to take with you a water filtration system of any kind, make sure you have all the parts when you go anywhere. This one is the Sawyer one. It's one of the top brands that the people that do like wilderness first aid and safety and things like that talk about. There's several though. Figure out what works for you. I know that Life Straw is another one that people tend to carry. I have those somewhere. Don't know where they are. And then also just the water purification tablets. Know how to use this if you decide that you're going to take it. Up next, I would say, is shelter. I have this that I carry with me. It's basically an emergency shelter for 2 people. You set it up between 2 pillars and you're good to go. There is a smaller one that I actually have in my other bag that I'll show you as well. Those are both good options. I just dropped the emergency blanket on the floor. One moment. So that is what that looks like. So it's basically, you know, something you could buy online. You could buy it in like Walmart, Target, any of those stores that has a camping section. It's just a reflective material. You slide yourself all into it, or you just wrap yourself in it, and it helps to keep you warm in cold or emergency like situations, wherever like somebody's going into shock or whatever. These are great to have on hand. And then if you watch the Vermont video, you know that I have a small compact sleeping bag. This is something great for warmth, great for if you're stuck somewhere and you need, you know, to be tucked in and kept warm. This is great to have. I also have this mat, and if you watch that video, you know that this mat is not self-inflatable. So that means you have to have a way of blowing it up, which I'm not super, I'm not a fan of that. I don't carry that kind of thing with me. Up in the air about whether or not I keep this, because this was very much a go bag situation where you're like having to go somewhere and end up in some random spot and have to sleep on the floor. That's what this is for. And then I also have the Trekology pillow. So this is an inflatable pillow. If you saw the Vermont video, you know it's, you can pull it out real quick. You basically unfurl it, blow it up, and it's a nice soft pillow. I actually used this and really liked it. So this is definitely something that I'm taking with me. For this one, I'm going to actually combine light and power. I have one of those rechargeable hand crank lanterns that also, I think this one has like a charging port. Yeah, it does. It has a charging port as well. But they sell these. I feel like these are not that expensive anymore. I feel like they're maybe $10. I'll try to like link some of this stuff into my Amazon storefront if they're not already there. But it basically has the hand crank situation where you can, you know, take it and if you don't have a place to plug this in and recharge it, you're able to power it up that way. So I have that. I also, trying to be really quiet because these plastic bags I think are really loud. I have just a regular flashlight, one of the ones that comes in the multi-pack. I think this one's like a Duracell or something like that, as well as batteries. I keep those on the outside of the flashlight, not inside of them when I store them. Then I have just the headlamp. Comes in a multi-pack as well at Costco. You can buy these anywhere. You can get really expensive ones, or you can get these that aren't as expensive. This also is Duracell. Can't remember how much the 3-pack was, but it wasn't very expensive. I keep one in the van, I keep one in here, and then I think I have one in the house because I think they come in a 3-pack. I also have several of these. I think I bought a 5-pack of the Bic lighters, and just keep all of this stuff in a plastic bag, because if I'm ever in a situation where water is involved, I want to make sure that I don't get my electronics wet, especially things like this. I have one of these portable charging cells. I forget what they're really called. That's what I call them. Just a charging brick. You plug it in, recharge it, and then you have it to charge your cell phone and things like that. And then I have the necessary cables to make sure that I'm able to do that. Speaking of, I know this is going into the emergency side. I also, in each of my vehicles, keep one of the like the window breaker seatbelt cutters. I think I have 2 types here in places that are really secure. So I have one that's tied to, like zip tied to my front seat in both vehicles, and then I have the hammer-like one that is in a sealed compartment in the front of the van. I don't generally travel over water, but I mean, when you're driving all over the United States on road trips, it's really good to keep things like that in your car. Thinking about heat, I have just a few of these hot hands. These do expire, so you gotta watch out for that. But somebody gave me a ton of these, so I have the hot hands. I have two types of kindling. This is like a particle board that I've used when I do like my van life stuff. I have the big brick of these, but then these are like 4-season survival tinder. It's basically packed cotton. You can dip it in candle wax. I don't think that you need to, but in plastic, of course, to protect it. And then, as I showed you, I have several lighters that I keep on hand. I don't have like, actually I do have matches. It's in another thing. So just anything that you can find and pack light to be able to start a fire if you need to, super beneficial. Next up, I would say personal hygiene items are really important to have. And this, of course, is going to be personal to every individual. For me personally, what works best is to have one of these types of containers. I've had this forever. It came with like an old Samsonite luggage set. You can see Samsonite came with an old Samsonite luggage set that I had like in the early 2000s maybe. So this is probably about 20 years old. And what I do is I just pack everything in here. Keeps it all contained, all nice and together. I have, you know, just the various things that you would need. Baby wipes. I have these really cool, let me show you. Baby wipes. I have these, which are really cool. This is actually toilet paper. You open it up, put a little, like 2 drops of water on it. It expands into like a full sheet of toilet paper. This is a camp towel, camp soap, excuse me, Excedrin, toothbrush, toothpaste, you know, just all of the things, deodorant, all of the things that you could possibly need in an emergency situation. Other good things to have hygiene-wise, I would say Vaseline. This especially for lips and things like that. Mine are quite often dry, just like my hands, because I live in a very dry climate. But also for that kindling that I mentioned, if you need to, you dip it in there. And this is very flammable, excuse me. Very flammable, so you can totally use this to help start a fire. I have an extra camp towel. This is very much to clean up any spills that happen. Just, you never know when you might need something like this, and it packs down really small. So not something that you're going to have to, you know, try to find room for. Now, the one thing that I think anybody that talks about car, you know, go bags and things like that you should have is a container to pee in. I know. But what I do is I don't drink coffee. I don't like the smell of it, but the people I work with do. So I asked somebody to bring me one of these. This next section is one that I completely geek over. So it's also the one where you have to pick and choose what's important for you to carry. I think that there are some basic things that you should have, but then the others are just like nice to have. Or things that, if you think like I do and think about all the alternate situations that you could find yourself in, are really beneficial and helpful to have. A lot of these things are also just stuff that I grifted from the house, like things that I had, you know, that I just threw in here because I used them around the house. Why would I not use them in an emergency situation? So there's a lot. Number one, though, you guys know that I always advocate having at least one first aid kit. This one, I think I have like 3 of these. So this one is the one that stays in my go bag, and it has, oh, I don't remember how many pieces. This says 299, so it has a bunch of the things that you might need in an emergency situation. Not very expensive. Definitely got this on Amazon. If you are shopping, I think this might come out around Black Friday. If you're shopping, I would definitely look to see if something like this is on sale. Next up is one of these emergency jump starters. So I have one in the van. This one I think I bought at Costco. It's one that you plug in via USB. It has the battery portion, it has the brick, and it packs down super small. So this is something great to keep in your car for yourself, but also I've run into people who were stalled and, you know, they walk up to my car, do you have jumper cables? And they're looking frantic. Not the people that look like they're trying to, you know, do you harm. The people that look like they're really frantic and need help. And I've just handed them this. I've handed it to neighbors. I've, you know, just people that are stranded. It's really good to have this, not just for yourself, but, you know, so that you're able to help other people in a pinch as well. So next up, emergency mirror. This is one, especially if you hike, if you go any kind of remote place. If somebody's looking for you from the air, you want to have something like this to catch the light so that they're able to see you. This is something that when I did, I think I did an REI class 2 years ago, when I was really sad about not being able to spend a lot of time outside. They have these classes that you can take, and this was one of the top recommendations that they gave that I did not think to have in either of my packs. So something very small that can be really helpful. Next up, paracord. I can't tell you how many times I've used, not this one because this one stays in the car, but the black one that I have for just various things. If I need to tie something up, if I need to tie something down, if I need to wrap it around something to stabilize it, like paracord, undefeated. And this one I think is the 550 pound. Not expensive, but something that I think isn't essential, but something that is good to have. Along those same lines, I have work gloves, and then things that I stole from the house. I have zip ties, I have tie downs of all kinds, different types of straps and things like that that I put in here. Of course, y'all know I got a knife. I can't show it to you because YouTube does things. I have scissors. I have a spork, so the double-sided one. Something that I had in my camping pack that I was like, oh, I think I'm going to take that. Duct tape. And then I have Ziploc bags, and I have heavy-duty trash bags. This one's interesting because I have seen people, if you don't have a rain jacket and you're in a situation where you just need something, cut this up, cut the holes in the top, like cut a hole in the top and two on the side, and you have a rain jacket, something that keeps you dry, if not warm. I have other types of gloves. Actually, no, these are the gloves that I have. So those are the work gloves, and then I have the ones for hygiene. If you're in an emergency situation, somebody's hurt and you want to put gloves on to keep your hands from getting dirty or, you know, getting all kinds of junk on them. And then I have a couple KN, I think these are N95s, not KN. These are N95 masks. Thank you, pandemic. And lastly, it's really good to have at least a notebook and a pen and a Sharpie. Those are three things that I think, regardless of what you do, figure out if you've got a little notebook, a pen, and a Sharpie. I've seen so many stories of people who get stranded in a place, and the way that people know what happened to them before they met their demise, or if they, you know, wandered off or whatever, was because they wrote things down. It's very important, you know, to write down what you see, what you hear, what you feel, all of that stuff in an emergency situation, especially if you're isolated and you're not sure about how that's going to end. The other thing I have in here is a survival handbook. I will show it to you. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit noisy. So I have this one, and it has all kinds of information in it. There are several out there. Pick which one, or whichever one you like. This one is the one that was recommended to me. That's why I bought it. I think that's it. So now I got to put all of this stuff in a bag. Make sure that it fits, because that's the other fun part. Make sure that it fits. Make sure that it makes sense, and that it's not too ridiculously heavy, that if I need to take it out of the car and walk with it, that I'm able to do so. Yeah, if I've missed anything, let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said, I've been looking at stuff like this, been collecting things for at least 30 years. So this isn't something that I just ran out and bought. If you decide, like, here are the top 10 things, that I think would be beneficial for me to have in my car emergency situation, I would ask for those things. If you do gift giving, birthdays, things like that, I would ask for those things. Create like a gift list and send it to people that you know are wanting to buy you things, so that you have those things on hand. But also, if you buy yourself like one thing a year, that's really how I accumulated a lot of this stuff. Is just figuring out, okay, what is the one thing that I think it would be really important for me to buy this month, this year, this quarter, whatever it is, and then buying that thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to see what other people think are the absolute must-haves, and then the things that are nice to have that I may have forgotten. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If it was and you'd like to see more stuff like this, let me know. I am by far not an expert in this stuff, but like I said, I've been doing it and like figuring this stuff out for a good 30 years. So I think that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, take good care.